All right, moving on, I want to remind you to save your work and save it often, and it's just a good habit to get into. All right, so let's go ahead and take this spine groove rear right here, and we're going to use this to cut a little groove into this spline tread here, this spine tread. And I want to let you in on a little secret here. If I click on that and I'm in item mode, if I just move this down to 0, it should position itself just fine, because I pre-positioned all these items so that at 0 they were in the right location. So that should help you in this this process. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select that, and I'm going to go ahead and select the center spine tread work, and I'm going to use a subtractive on this. So click that there, and there we go. Okay. All right, so the next one we want to do is this front piece. I'm going to cut a groove in here, and I've already prepared a trim for that. Let's see, that would be this one right here. However, what I decided to do is just get rid of this, or just turn that off and not use it at all. We're going to do this one from scratch. Okay, so first thing I want to do is make a new layer. New item layer, hit the N key to make that happen. I'm going to jump over to my curve tools. I'm going to hit mesh constraint, make sure that background constraint is on. And I'm just going to grab the standard spline curve here. And let's look at this from the bottom actually. Okay, so I'm looking at an orthographic view. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little CV right there, one right there, and one right about there. Okay, and I think that's all I need for that. I'm just going to drop that tool. I'm going to go into perspective view, and I'm just going to bring this up a little bit. Oh, by the way, turn off background constraint, because that can mess you up later on. And tell you how many times I've forgotten to do that, and it just really kind of messed me up. Now I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to select that again, and I want to kind of extend the ends on this so that they're exceeding the outer part of this spline. And we'll go to the bottom, grab that guy right there and pull him right about there. I think that's right about where I want him. Same with this one. We're going to pull that guy right about there. Okay, so I'm good with that. Now I need to make another item. So before we do that, let's go ahead and name this perspective. Here we go. We're going to call this front groove path. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and make another empty mesh item layer and hit the N key to create that. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my mesh ops panel right there. And in this case, I want to go ahead and make a let's see, an ellipse, right? And this will be a procedural ellipse. All right. Now I'm going to adjust its size. I'm just going to grab that guy right there. Now this ellipse will act as a profile that I will extrude along the curve that I previously made, and will actually sort of carve a channel in that center spline there, just like we did for the rear part of the spline. I'm just going to move this off to the side because it doesn't have to be in any particular place. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add a curve extrude operator, which I think it's down right about there, and that's asking me for which path I want to use, and that would be the one we just created, which would be the front groove path, which is right down there. Okay, so we can kind of see that's working for us there, and we just need to make a few adjustments to the mesh operator. And I'm going to turn off both of the caps, and I'm going to invert the polygons, and I'm going to change selection type to polygon, and oops, don't need to invert it, and there we go. Now we have our trim object that we can use to cut a channel in the spine. Now I need to make some adjustments to the curve that we're using as the path for this object, and I want to put it in a position where it's going to cut through that spine object at just the right position. So I'm going to be moving the ends out so that the open ends of that extrusion do not interfere with the ends of the tread itself, otherwise it would cause a fusion to fail. Now I want to be mindful of the position of this trim object in that I don't want to get it so low that the strips that it creates when I fuse it to the treads interferes with the strips that the threads themselves created as it fused to the bottom of the sole. So I think we're in a good position here, so let's go ahead and go into item mode. And we're going to select both the groove and the center spine thing and go into subtractive, click on that, and there it is. All right, so that's working for us. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have enough of a gap between the two strip items so that they do not interfere with one another. And because our trim item was procedurally generated, it's easy to make changes that will propagate all the way through to our mesh fusion item.